Dear Dr. Joel, Mrs. Lyons, Dr. Schlanger, faculty, staff, and my fellow students. I remember strenuously studying for the first science quiz of my 8th grade year. I was determined to get a great grade to start my year off well. When the time came to take the quiz, it did not go as planned. I was the first one out of the classroom, frustrated with myself for messing up my graph analytics due to just one careless mistake. At home, I was ready to give up, trying to figure out how to regain strength and study again. Later in the day, I realized that throughout my life, slip-ups have happened. It's okay to mess up, but you should realize instead of giving up, you should try to regain strength and try again. I noticed that I've used this advice since I was young, and I've continued to persevere through tough challenges. Ever since I was little, I love Legos. Whether it's building all the huge sets or just playing around with random pieces, around 7.5 years of my life were devoted to my hobby of building and playing with Legos. I built sets oriented to things I liked, varying from random Star Wars spaceships all the way to sets like my large 6,000-piece Hogwarts castle. However, on occasions where I built these sets, sometimes I would drop my creations while playing with them. I'd cry my eyes out, wondering how I could ever rebuild the Legos perfectly again. Every time I broke a Lego creation, my mom always helped me realize I could build it again since I had done it before. Internalizing this piece of info my mom shared, every time I dropped a Lego, I smiled as I realized there was an opportunity to rebuild it and strengthen my abilities to create Legos. Another activity I did related to Legos was build creations from scratch, using extra pieces I accumulated. At first, I did not have the exact pieces I wanted for certain creations, which frustrated me. I would always get angry and not want to play anymore, since I didn't have the certain Lego I needed to finish a house or the right color for my palette. Over time, as I realized I had to work with what I had instead of simply giving up, I'd improvise, making multicolored creations or even houses with different sized walls and slanted roofs. Using my imagination and improvisation, I created what I wanted with what I had to work with. Instead of wanting everything to be proper and organized, I let myself deal with having creations that weren't perfect to the exact piece. In 3rd grade, I found out I had severe obsessive-compulsive disorder and anxiety. My sisters Dylan and Lindsay tried to comfort and help me while I was deeply buried in my pestering thoughts. My sister Dylan always tried helping me by making me tell her my worries, then she would try her best to explain to a young kid why he doesn't have to worry about the very far away future yet. When it got worse and my sister's sessions didn't help anymore, my mom took me to see a therapist. After my first session, Dr. Brader, my therapist, diagnosed me with severe OCD and anxiety. She explained that my OCD caused me to be fixated on time and my schedule, wanting everything about my day to be as perfect as planned, while my anxiety caused me to overthink every little thing. At first, it was hard dealing with the worries of my thoughts and my schedule, but with more therapy, I learned tools to help counter my need to overthink everything. Little by little, I conquered my OCD with the help of my family supporting me and an amazing therapist who helped me through the tough times. Nowadays, 5 years later, I still struggle with some thoughts from time to time, but now have tools to help myself solve these problems. I also used my ability to focus on time management as a strength, as it now helps me stay focused and on schedule to ensure many things happen, such as study. OCD and anxiety helped me learn how to create tools to improve my mind's well-being and to create strengths out of a package. These tools that I created can also help me with multiple other things, such as resolving conflicts. Just like many of you, I've gone into many arguments with friends. Whether a small bickering about a video game or something that has caused a big fracture in a friendship, we always made up. In 5th grade during lockdown, due to COVID-19, my friends and I always played video games right after online school. These games caused the majority of our fights. No matter what, we strengthened our friendships due to us having so many fights and then talking our issues out. In 6th grade, there are fewer arguments, but they still existed. Most of the time, it would be about studying or what solution is correct on a quiz or test. After 6th grade, since we always fought in the past, we all learned from our mistakes and matured. In 7th grade, and even now in 8th grade, we barely get into fights. Our fights have caused us to grow stronger and learn how to work out problems together instead of fighting. Although in all friendships conflicts are expected, you can minimize them by simply using tools from previous fights to aid you, such as talking it out instead of yelling at each other, or just taking a break and coming back to resolve the argument at a later date. Just like how fights cause me to grow stronger, so do everyday issues, whether it is trying something new, doing homework, or even taking difficult Mr. Basalt tests like me. The main importance of using your issues is to strengthen yourself and to also create tools to help you in the future. You should consider second chances when learning from your problems. Complications in life are regular and should be expected to occur. I believe it is how you deal with these adversities that show one's true strength and character. Thank you.